Hello, I'm going to show you how to use a Vlookup function. So over here I have a table with a list of students and the grades they got for their three first tests. And over here I have another table which is their grading scheme. So what I want to display over here is their letter grade. So for that I'm going to use a Vlookup function. So I'm going to hit equal Vlookup, just hit tab. The lookup value is going to be the grade that the student got. Gonna hit comma. The table array is going to be the grading scheme right over here. And then I'm gonna hit comma. And the column index number is the value I want to display from my table array. So here's my table array. Here's column number 1 and here's column number 2. So I want to display the information in column number 2. So I hit 2, close parentheses, hit enter. There you go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna drag this over and display the grades, the letter grades of the students. So you can see that pretty much all of the grades are not displayed. It's showing a not available sign. So let's double click here and see what's happening. So as you can see over here, the reference table, the table array has shifted. So right now VLOOKUP is looking for 90 in the first column of our table array and it's not finding it, therefore it's saying that it's not available. So to prevent this from happening, you can lock the table. So I just wanted to show you, like for instance, if I click here, what happens, like you can see the shift of the table as we drag down. So okay, so to prevent this from happening is you can lock the table. So over here we're going to put a $ in front of the column and a $ in front of the row, and right over here we can do the same. You can just hit F4 and it'll put it in the $ for us, and there you go. So now when I drag this over, it's going to show the right grades. So here I can just double click and it'll drag it. Excel will drag it down for us. Okay, so let me just explain to you how VLOOKUP works. If I double click over here, so this VLOOKUP will take this 76 and it's going to go to the first column of our table array. It's going to say, okay, is 76 greater than 0? Yes. Okay, let's go to the next row. Is 76 greater than 60? Yes, let's go to the next row. Is 76 greater than 70? Yes, let's go to the next row. Is 76 greater than 80? No. Let's come back to our previous row. Now let's take the value in column number 2. So it's going to take this C right over here. So that's why the C is displayed. I'm going to do it one more time over here, for instance, with this D. It takes the 62. It's going to say, is 62 greater than 0? Yes, let's go to the next row. Is 62 greater than 60? Yes, let's go to the next row. Is 62 greater than 70? No, let's come back down. Let's go back to the previous row. Now let's go to column number 2 and take the value of column number 2, which is a D, and that's why it displays that D. So this is how VLOOKUP works. Now I showed you have here a wrong table. And I did on purpose to show you because VLOOKUP only works if the values in the column number 1 of the table array are in increasing order. If the values in the first column of the table array are in decreasing order, like in the wrong table, VLOOKUP function will not work properly. So I just want to demonstrate this to you, and so you can have an idea of how the VLOOKUP function behaves. So I'll just like that, lock it, enter, and shift that over. Double click here. There you go. So you see, for instance, John, he got on test 2, he got a 91. Well, an F is displayed. So obviously this information is wrong. So say you already made this table and you already made a table with the numbers in decreasing order. Well, you can fix this. Instead of having to do it manually, you can have the Excel do it for you. Just select the table, go to data, and sort from A to Z. There you go. So now it fixes it for you and all the information over here is fixed. Okay, so that's just this is just some ways to use the VLOOKUP function. So over here now we're going to go in some more ways to use it. So over here I made a drop down with a list of students, and right here what I want to be displayed is the college the student is attending and his GPA. So right here I made a table with all of this information. So here we have the students, the college, and the GPA. Alright, so for instance, right now I have Jerry selected, and I want to display his college information. So we're going to use a VLOOKUP function for that. So we're going to hit equal VLOOKUP. There you go. And the lookup value is going to be Jerry. I'm going to hit comma, and I'm going to go to the table array, select the table array, and lock that. So I'm going to hit F4. Then I'm going to hit comma, and I want to display the information in column number 2. So I'm going to hit 2 and close parentheses, hit enter. There you go. So that works. So before I drag this over, since I locked the table array, I also have to lock the lookup value, or else it'll change the reference cell and won't display the proper information. So over here, when I slide this over, it should actually display Bauer. The reason why is because I did not change this value over here. It's still taking the values in column number 2 of my table array. So what I want is to actually display the values in column number 3 of our table array. So I can just go here, double click here, change that to a 3. Hit enter, and there you go. The proper GPA is displayed. So let's just play around with this, and we'll see that there's actually an error in here. Okay, there you go, Chris. Nothing's displaying, neither here. Okay, so what's the mistake? Well, it's actually the first column of our table array. It has to be in alphabetical order. So VLOOKUP only works if the information the values in the first column of the table array are in increasing order if they're numbers, or in alphabetical order if they're letters. So over here what we'll do is we'll select the table, we'll go to data and sort from A to Z. There you go. So now it should display the information of Ashley, it should display the information of Albert. There you go. And it should display the information of Chris. There you go. Okay, so instead of having to manually go in and, for instance, say if you had plenty of columns that you had to fill in, and instead of having to go in and change it into a 3 and then 4 and etc., well, a good coding practice, if I can say that, is to actually go in and put in the numbers of the column. If you want to, say you have plenty of numbers in increasing order of by 1 unit, you can actually drag this over. Excel recognized that you increased it by 1 unit each time, and so it's going to increase it by that much every time. And you can just bring this back down over here. There you go. Alright, you can also do a fill series for that. So right over here, if instead of having the 2 manually put in, I can just erase that and reference the cell that has a number 2 in it, right over here. Then I can hit enter, and so now it's referencing cell sheet 2 F4. And when I drag this one over, if I drag this one over, it's going in this cell. It's gonna show that it's linking to sheet 2 in cell G4. So if I go over here, sheet 2, now cell G4 is right over here, so it's a 3. And so whenever you drag this all the way down, it's gonna constantly follow that straight line of numbers and reference the appropriate column that you're looking for. Okay, well, that was it. Hope it was helpful.